Hey everyone, and welcome to Dimensional Wellness. This is Dee Dee, and I am so glad that we have found each other. So it's 1:31 today on November 1st, and I was thinking about my dreams last night, and I thought that this would be a really interesting one to talk about. So we were going to do an adventures in the Astrals. I'm going to talk a little bit about what I saw last night, and then I'm going to talk about the dream that I had. And I'm trying to think about where to kind of start with it, because it was one of those dreams that was kind of seamlessly going into life, and then I was getting more information about it kind of throughout other days. Yeah, and I'm also going to use some discretion because sometimes the astral adventures turn out to be based in actual things going on. And so we're going to use some discretion, okay? We're going to use some discretion so Dee Dee doesn't go up missing, okay? Okay, so... Okay, a little bit of background about what's been going on in life. Okay, this has been like one of the themes. So I have some friends, some family members, and my husband who have been seeing things about war. And so what we usually do as a group is we come together in our different ways with each other and stuff like that. And we try to figure out like what is going on. Okay, so I'm like, okay, let me see what's going on, because like Ray and I were riding in a car one day, like this week, and we were out and about, and I literally saw on a license plate, it said something war. And I was like, who puts war on the back of their license plate? And then as we were talking about that, I looked to the side, we're like on the interstate, and there was something war on a building. And I was like, okay, there must be a war energy in the air. Do you know what I'm saying? Like when the timing is so synchronistic. So anyways, we ended up both taking a nap later on that day because we were out in the morning doing some activities and, I didn't mean to say activities, but I forgot what the word is called. Some errands. Yeah, some errands. And, so we got home and we decided just to take a nap and stuff like that, because with 5 kids, you have got to take naps, okay? So we lay down to take a nap, and I had a really fun dream, but when I woke up, I was thinking about him, and I was like, I don't know if he had the same type of dream. It didn't feel like we had the same type of dream. So I was asking him, like, what'd you dream about? And he was dreaming that this 18-wheeler had pushed him off of a mountain road. And I'm like, okay. Now, we don't usually have dreams like that. Like most of our dreams, we're not in conflict with people or something. But we had been talking to a teacher in Waking Life, and she was telling us about a story of how her and one of her loved ones were riding somewhere, and they had tried to get ahead of someone, and that like some type of way, they ended up spinning off of the road into a ditch. Now that's significant because this is a similar situation where he was like driving on one of those like mountain roads, especially out here in Arizona, like on your way to Sedona and stuff like that. And there's some of the mountain roads that are really narrow and stuff. And so I guess he was trying to pass this 18-wheeler to get ahead of him. And he said that the 18-wheeler had like these extension parts at the wheels that pushed him over the edge. Now, he didn't die, which is good, but he said he was just like hanging off of the side of the cliff. Now, he was in my dream, but it was a good dream. And so I was like, okay, that sounds interesting. That's definitely like a combative type of energy. And we did see war. So anyways, last night in my dream, I was with someone, and we were driving in traffic again, very similar to like when me and Ray were driving in traffic. And it was like I was passing that building that I saw in Waking Life in the Astrals. And he was like, you need to look at that building again. And when I looked at it, I remembered this dream that I want to talk about today. And he was like, didn't you have a dream about this before? And I was like, yes, oh my gosh. And it was connected to my birthday and stuff like that. So let's get into the dream that I remembered in my dream. I know it's trippy, like it's a lot to follow. Okay. Okay, so what ended up happening was that I have to go back a little bit. So in waking life in 2017, Ray and I took a trip with some friends to go visit some other friends out in Venice Beach. It was right on the Santa Monica Venice Beach border. And so while we were out there, and we had spent, I can't remember how long we spent out there, maybe like 2 weeks or maybe almost a month. I can't exactly remember. And at the time we only had 2 kids. Anyways, we were spending some time out there, and there's a particular day where I felt like I just wanted to go and travel around Venice Beach and just kind of check it out. So there was a place that I felt really drawn to go to, and I'm gonna have to look it up and see if I can find it. But there's a place that I felt really, really drawn to go to. And it had like vegan options, like food. And it was a cute little small place. But when I called them, it was like noon, like afternoon already. And they were telling me that they were, did you hear that? Yo, what was that? What was that? Not right now, okay? Hold on a second, okay? You gotta talk to the spirit sometimes, okay? Because there's definitely been activity in the house. Like, oh, look, someone's calling me too. I'm gonna let it go to voicemail. I'm not sure who that is. Okay. There's been activity in the house today, okay? But I'm taking that as like, yeah, this place was important. And I don't remember what this place was right now. But I called them and they were going to be closing up shop soon. So I think they like ended, I think they were just kind of like a brunch place or something like that. And for whatever reason, I decided like not to go, even though I felt really pulled to it. Ooh, excuse me. Now, the interesting thing is that I can't really remember if this was like in that same year in 2017 or if it was in 2018 that I ended up dreaming about actually going to that place and eating. But I think it was like during that trip, I still had a dream about going there. And I actually didn't get to eat. There was something going on. But anyways, I was like, okay, there's something really about this place. And actually, it's funny because I ended up having this other dream, and I ended up going to this hotel in New Orleans, and there was these Ghostbusters who had went to this place in Venice Beach, and they went to go do ghost busting. So that's kind of interesting that there's like activity going on. Because it kind of reminds me of that. But anyway, so back to the dream though. So this place shows up, okay? Now this dream I had in 2019. Okay, this is a dream in 2019. I don't remember exactly when, but it was in 2019. And I remember that in the dream, I was at this place again in Santa Monica or Venice Beach. We were like right on the border of literally Santa Monica Pier and Venice Beach Pier. So I can't remember if this place was actually in Santa Monica or Venice, but it was one of them. Like right where they're right next to each other. And so anyways, I caught consciousness as I was driving in an Uber to go to this place. And I was like, oh, I'm actually going to that place that I was supposed to go to like 2 years ago. And I'm like, this place is still showing up. I'm like, it must be important. So anyway, I get out of the Uber. I thank the Uber driver. Now this is in a dream, okay? I thank the Uber driver. I get out and I go in. So when I go in, it's really cute. It's really quaint. And there's like a little kind of open mic kind of spot that looks like dark and kind of like shut down. It was during the day, but they didn't really have lights over there on or anything. And so, and it looked pretty quiet, even though there was like a kind of small bar area and there's a bartender. So I don't know what I'm doing, but at this point, I know that like I'm there for a reason though. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just kind of, get the ball rolling and eventually I'll figure out why I'm here. Because I don't even think I was planning to eat. Okay, so I go to the bar and I'm talking to this guy and I'm looking at the counter and I see that they have events going on. So I'm like, okay. Now at this point, I'm trying to think about what day it is, which I don't know if I figured out what day it was, but I did see that there was a famous entertainer on the lineup for that day. And so I'm asking the bar guy and I'm like, oh, is blah, 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 blah performing here? He's like, yeah, he's right over there. So I look right over there at the poet plate, at the little poetry stand, and I see this famous performer coming out from behind stage, and he's like about to do his greatest hits or whatever. And I'm like, why would this performer be doing his greatest hits like in the middle of Venice Beach in the middle of the day? Because this wasn't like late at night or anything. It's a brunch place. Like with barely anybody there. Like there was like 2 or 3 other people there. So I'm like, this looks weird. But I'm not letting him know that it's weird. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go along with it because maybe I'm here for him. Child. So he gets on the mic and he starts doing his... It's funny. He starts doing his greatest hits, and it's like the most like I'm not really here to perform type of performance. So by this point, I'm like, okay, obviously they're here doing something else because he clearly didn't come here to perform. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna scope out the situation. I'm not gonna say too much. Like, okay, I don't know. So anyways, I decide to sit down like in front of the bar, and there's this woman that comes up, and it was kind of like in the dream, whoever they were, I'm assuming they that were putting me in this dream to see this information, wanted her to seem like she was like a friend of mine. Now it's interesting because I've had this person in another dream, and it's been the same thing that's happened where there's like this friend that is supposed to be like, like my friend, like, oh, we're just 2 girls having a good time at the bar and, we like the music from this guy or whatever. So I was supposed to be like pretending like this was my friend. So I'm like, okay, fine. Like, if you want to give me a friend, fine. So she comes up, she's talking, and she's like not my type of vibe of a friend, to be honest. Like it's kind of like the party girl, going out, going drinking at the club, wants to be seen and stuff like that. Like it's just not my vibe. I'm not a club person. I'm a homebody to a certain extent. I like to explore, but when I get out of the house, like I'm not going to like the clubs and dancing and stuff like that or whatever. Like I want to go see a movie. I want us to go have dinner and talk, some one-on-one good time. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's just, so I'm like, okay. We don't really have much to talk about. They're like, don't you love this song? I'm like, I can't do too much small talk either. I'm not a good small talker. So I'm just like, no, not like, not really. I mean, but then I'm like, okay, I don't know. I'm not going to say that. I'm like, it's interesting. The content wasn't that great. Whatever. So anyways, the bartender is like, are you ready to get a drink? So I'm like, yeah, just give me a ginger ale. He's like, oh my gosh, are you getting? I'm like, yes, just give me a ginger ale. I don't want to drink or anything like that. A ginger ale is cool. So the guy gets off of the stage. I can't even call it a stage. Like he was just literally there talking on the mic. It was crazy. So he gets done doing whatever he was doing. He comes over there and he's like, why don't y'all ladies come backstage? And so I'm like, okay. Really, because she was like jumping at it. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm supposed to go with this friend backstage. So we decided we're going to go backstage. So he's walking us backstage, which was actually like behind the bar in like some type of upstairs room or whatever. So we get up there and there are different groups of people, which seem like backstage crew. Like, it didn't really seem like they had backstage passes. It seemed like people that maybe he picked to go back there and like chill. I don't know, but I guess it was supposed to look like it was just like a chill environment or something. I don't know what the plan was, but there was like all these random kind of people back there and they were all kind of talking in their own separate groups, but the room would look to be full, I guess, if somebody walked in. So she's trying to like socialize with all the people and get people dancing and things like that. I guess maybe as a distraction. But I'm already catching on to like the energy. So I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm kind of like, okay, how long am I going to stay with this? Because I feel like I'm here for a reason. I'm supposed to be doing something or seeing something, but it's starting to get real creepy feeling. And I don't know how long I want to kind of test the waters because I'm really about to just go. So she's like kind of dancing around or whatever like that. I'm not having a good time. And so I go up to her and I'm like, what are we doing here? By this time, like, I'm not just going to like sit and see. So I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, why are we here? Like, is this just kind of like a chill vibe? Are we just kind of dancing? Like, because in that case, have fun. I'm about to leave. And she was like, no, just have fun or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Like, we're having a good time. Like, I don't, having a good time doing what? Like, what are we doing? And so at that point, I guess word starts getting around that I'm like asking questions and getting antsy. So this person comes back and he comes up to me. He's like, I just need you to chill for a while. So I'm like, I don't know if I have that much chill left. But maybe you could tell me what we're doing up here. Like, you're not up here, you're not socializing, so I'm sure that's not why we're up here. They're not really socializing, they're talking to each other. And I'm just trying to figure out why you have this random cast of characters up here and what we're doing. Because it's just like a chill type of thing. I'm not here for that. I've got other things to do. And not being rude, but do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like to be in a situation where I don't know where this is going, because a whole lot of stuff can pop off with a whole lot of different personalities. And you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the move here? Child, so he's like, just sit down and wait for a few minutes and just give me some time and I'll come and explain some stuff. So I'm like, okay. Child, tell me why. Tell me why. It's like about 5 minutes that pass. Okay, this is still a dream, okay? About 5 minutes that pass, and I kid you not, all of a sudden, like 4 Chinese men dressed like Secret Service, but they obviously are in Chinese mafia or something like that, come into the room. And they do an exchange with this person, with this music person. And I was like, see, this is why. This is exactly why I don't hang around. Because y'all hang around is different from my hang around. Y'all hang around to do illegal stuff, do under the table stuff. And now I'm here and I'm like, and why did you even bring me here? Like, for what reason? Why are you putting all of us in danger like this? So once I see them do their little interaction, I just skedaddled right on down the stairs, right out. Like, after I saw the Asian people leave, okay? Which I'm pretty sure they were Chinese people. So like they did their little exchange or whatever. And then those guys immediately walked out. Like, if you missed it, you missed it. Like, there were some people who didn't even see it. But I was watching like a hawk. I'm like, what's going on? So they leave, and I wait about 2 minutes to where I'm like, okay, they're probably down the stairs. They're probably out the door or almost out the door. And so I decide to leave immediately. Okay, so the famous person wasn't really paying attention. The other girl wasn't really paying attention. I skedaddled, okay? So I get down the stairs, and I hear a female voice, and she's like, nope, I need you to see one more thing. So I'm like, girl, I've got kids. I've got a reason to live. Okay. So she was like, I need you to sit there because I need you to see one more thing. So I'm like, this better be quick because I'm darting out of here. I don't know what you were trying to put me in the middle of. Like, you could have just sent me a note about this. Do you know what I'm saying? You could have sent me an email about this. You could have sent me a video about this. Do you know what I'm saying? So I go and sit in this like ducked off area. Real ducked off, so it's not over there by the poetry, whatever spoken word thing. It's not over there by the bar, but I have a view of the bar and the open mic kind of area. So I'm sitting in the couch and everything, and I'm fiddling a little bit. I'm trying not to fiddle to bring too much attention to myself, but I'm fiddling. And I'm like, look, come on, whatever it is, come on. And so she's like, just wait. So, child, next thing I know, I can't even make it up, child. And you're not gonna really know exactly how impactful it was because, like, I don't want to say everything, but there's a politician that walks in, a very famous politician that walks in, okay? And I'm like, oh no, not the US government, okay? But of course, not them involved in this stuff. And so it was a very famous political person, political figure, politician, whatever. And he goes up to the bar and he obviously looks like he's not getting anything from the bar. But the guy at the bar hands him something. And I knew that the thing that the guy at the bar handed him had something to do with what the Chinese guy handed the entertainer. And I guess they left something for him downstairs. So the entertainer was still upstairs, didn't have anything necessarily to do that I saw with the politician, but the Chinese person, those people left something at the bar for the politician. Okay, so I'm like, oh, this runs deep. Like, this runs really deep. So I saw him literally get the thing, and he was talking to the guy making small talk at the bar. So I jet out of there. I'm like, okay, I saw all I needed to see. But the very last thing that I saw was when I went outside, this guy had a black stretch limousine, okay? And when I went outside, that's when I realized that I was invisible to his family, because I went to his car because I started hearing kids in the car. And I was like, what politician is going to bring his kids to some type of illegal drop or whatever? I'm like, what if it didn't go well? Who would bring their kids? So I go in because I'm like, this guy's old enough. I'm like, he shouldn't have no kids. So anyways, I look into the car and it's his children, and they're not actually kids, but I understood that they were being represented as children because they were unaware of and naive to this aspect of what he was doing as a politician. So it was almost like this female energy that wanted me to see these things, also wanted me to see that the quote unquote kids were naive to this aspect. Now, they weren't naive to him as a person, but to the specific aspect of this level of depth, they were kids. His wife was not. She was aware of this. And I remember this being like, they're kids. Like, why would you even get them involved in this? And so the interesting thing is that later on that year in 2019, we had the solar annular eclipse, the Ring of Fire eclipse on my birthday. And actually, this entertainer posted a video that indicated some stuff around that time that could relate to these things. That's how I'm going to say it. But in general, why I'm mentioning this, because I think that there is something coming up about China and the US and some type of warfare. Now, for me, I don't know if I necessarily feel like it's on soil type of stuff, but I do feel like it could be internet kind of stuff related. And it could happen sometime around Christmas towards the end of the year. So I think that's something to be aware of. So if you have flight plans and stuff like that for Christmas, I think I would be really aware of that. And make sure that you have multiple ways to get in touch with people, which now I'm thinking about, like, if the internet is down or certain people's phone services or something are down, and like y'all live out of state from each other. I'm trying to think of like how that would work with staying in touch. Maybe you should just have all your family come to Christmas and just not leave until can they just like not leave until February? I don't know. But I wanted to put that out there onto the multiverse of madness internet, okay, on net's internet. And hopefully send out some good energy to hopefully avert whatever that is. All right. Well, thank you for listening. If you've had a similar dream or experience, I'd love to hear about it in the comments or email. And I'll be back with more soon. Bye.